platform adjust for your local time? I would assume so, but... So this is most recent patch. It was like downtime. They updated the game. This actually involved, obviously, downloading and updating your client. And I've looked over it briefly, but I really haven't looked at it in detail because I wanted to wait and go over it once I was back and we could do it all together. So I've got them pulled up here. I'm going to mostly just kind of read while we're fishing, except when it gets to stuff that's like, I don't know, I don't want to read it, then I'll bring it over and we'll look at it. But okay, in the user setting, the ability to separate the frames per second limit in case the game is running in the background has been implemented. So I just did this. You can go under video, FPS, frames per second limit in the background. I've set it to 30. Curious what other people are doing with that. I assume if you have a low-end computer and you want to like be able to tab out and look at something else, this probably really helps to lower the amount of processing power or whatever that the game is taking, maybe memory. I don't know. I assume that's what it's for. If there's other things, I'd love to hear other people's thoughts or like how that is impacting you. If that setting is helping somehow. In my experience, that setting, sometimes in games, I actually like to turn it up. I don't know if y'all have ever noticed this, but like, okay, so here's an example. Diablo 4 came out, and if I tabbed out of Diablo 4, the frames per second just plummeted. So like if you're in a cutscene or whatever, all of a sudden like it's just like chugging along. It looks horrible. The audio's getting messed up. But they had the setting in there where you can go in and you can set the frames per second almost like a minimum. Or you could, the frames per second wouldn't be impacted by tab targeting out or tabbing out to a different menu or a different program or whatever. And then it ran normally, so you could still hear the cutscene. You could still see the cutscene. It wasn't like chugging along. So that's more of what I think of with that. But to be able to set the frames per second the way they're doing it here, like I just don't know. Sort of curious. I assume that this mostly is going to help. If it limits it, you could limit it to 5. And so that's got to just take a lot less processing power in the background, right? No pinging anymore for real speed when fish is hooked. Saddest moment of my life. I did miss that sound too. I got used to it now though. Yo, what's up, Maddie? Welcome. We're just going over patch notes, and then I'll get off of the heavily structured part here. Yeah, so we'll get to that in a second. Indicator has been added to the game screen for the marine rod and hand signaling a bite. So here we go. That's what we see here. We get the signal now. It's a big change. This is one of my favorite updates we've ever had in RF4. I was sort of joking earlier, like the best update since Amber Lake is having this bite signal at the bottom. Now, some of y'all are making the joke. I actually do miss the audio sound that we got by hitting R. We don't get that anymore. But I think that it's such a huge bonus to be able to visually see. Like if you're fishing in real life, you would have some sort of indication. Typically, you would feel a difference, something, that there was a bite, right? So to have that visual cue, it is just a game after all, so I don't think it's too far. It's even a little different from me, like you might think about Fishing Planet. If you are float fishing, you start getting a bell in your ear if something is nibbling at your bait, right? So it's like preparing you, hey, you're going to want to strike soon. This isn't even that to me. When this symbol goes off, at least my understanding, the fish is already on. It's just like a good indication of what you would probably realize if you were actually fishing in real life. At least that's the way I'm thinking about it. Love to hear if y'all have different thoughts, but that's kind of how I'm thinking about it. You weren't joking either, Rybend? Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. I miss it too. We're so used to that audio cue of a fish being on, right? So it also says an indicator has been added to the game screen for any type of rod in hand signaling a fish is hooked. So does that mean, chat, that if we're float fishing, if we're bottom fishing and holding the rod, if we're float fishing and holding the rod, or if we're spin fishing and floating the rod, holding the rod, we now get this same indicator when a fish is on? I haven't even tested this yet because this is the first time I've played since getting home from vacation. All right, so chat's saying yes. So, I mean, I think that's pretty cool. I think the thing that I'll need to see is with float fishing, right? Like, does it totally break the game? Like, you don't have to guess anymore when the fish is actually on versus maybe like nibbling on your float? Or does it not do that? That's the only thing that I'm a little curious on. Like, that'd be a huge buff. I think we went boost and buff between the two to boof for float fishing. Yo, what's up, Blood? Thank you so much for the kind words. Welcome back. Float only shows up after hook. Okay, that's great. So it doesn't break it. I mean, I was going to say, like, that is just so OP for float fishing in a way that's different to me than how it shows us here on marine or bottom or spin even. Okay, we'll move on then. Good. I love it. All good stuff so far. Increase the wariness of shy fish species to the presence of a running motor. To improve your results when trolling for cautious fish, increase your casting distance. All right, what do y'all think about this, chat? Has anybody, I mean, it's so new, right? Like, we haven't had chance, I assume we haven't had a chance to really test enough to reliably know how much this has impacted things. I don't think this impacts us on the sea. I would hope not, at least. Even if you are trolling on the sea, you not only have distance as in how far away you are, but you also have distance as in depth. Surely the motor is not impacting the sea on the sea fishing. At least that's what I would assume. But anywhere else, I guess I just need to be reminded, what are the cautious fish? And also, like, does this mean we have to cast out like 50 meters now? Because that's going to definitely decrease the efficiency of spin fishing. Now, until I've tried it, I'm just going to assume everything's going to be straight and that they haven't like completely ruined the balance like with trolling and stuff. But those are the things to keep an eye on, for me at least, when I try to figure out like, okay, what are these changes? What do they actually mean practically in game? You always thought it was a thing. Actually, it does. It's hard to troll now. So you're thinking it does affect the Norwegian Sea? That seems weird to me with how deep we're fishing, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. So they've done this before, right? I believe that this is the case. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. But in the past, they have increased the distance where you needed to fish away from the boat. Like, weren't people fishing it like so short back in the day, like trolling just like a few meters behind their boat? And they did change the bite rate or the likelihood of getting a fish too close to the boat. But yeah, I agree with you, Renzi. It doesn't make as much sense on the sea necessarily, but we'll see. Copycat says the trolling nerf will affect some maps like Doga. Yeah. I just want to. Yeah, I want to test it some, and I also want to know what falls into that cautious fish category. I think they've released that before, haven't they? Talked about these are cautious fish, these aren't, like sort of officially. Imagine Corey. Yeah, I mean it just can't. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. They just gave some examples. Maybe I just haven't gotten into it yet. All right, so let's see. An adjustment of parameters of physical model of rods was made, aimed at improvement of correspondence of rods' rigidity to their strength class. Okay, that sounds good. I mean, I don't know how it was implemented, but based on what their strength class is, it changed how bendy or stiff or whatever the rods are. Did this help the Model 1 at all? you know, one of the complaints about the Model 1, it's got really good stats. Most people really like it, other than it feels like such a noodle, especially if you're trolling with it. So I'd be curious to see like what all that actually impacted. The strength of the following rod series has been increased. Heaven's Creek Armada. Actually, I have that rod, but the problem is I don't remember what it used to be. Heaven's Creek Armada is now, whoa, that's big. I know it wasn't that big. I don't remember what it used to be, but I don't think it was 25.7, right? We also have the Heaven Creek Black Edition, the Advent, Sagoon Advent, and the West Hill Royal Picker. Now, I know from my glancing over it before, more info on pickers coming soon, but interesting that the West Hill Royal Picker got an increase in strength. I believe that's the picker rod that some people use to fish carp for because of the bonuses. Getting to something sooner, maybe PVA. Y'all might remember, chat. I don't think I have that, but let's double check. Let's spell correctly. I don't think I ever got it, but I believe that's what people used to do. All right, and then all picker rods. Let me catch up with chat first. Y'all might have some more information which would be helpful for this discussion. Things like chars and such are cautious fish. Yeah, that makes sense. Char, which, you know, char our own Archie, char our own Corey. Is it going to be 83.4? By the way, is it going to be harder to catch those? You mentioned they were talked about in the past. I was saying when they said it was an old Q&A and they just gave some examples. Oh, okay. Thank you, Blunty. I got you. So they didn't give us a complete list back in the Q&A, just some examples. They raised the Model 1 price almost twice as much. Oh my goodness. That shows you, I mean, first of all, I don't know if that's actually balanced or not to raise it that much. I guess I'd have to look in the store, but that shows you why we thought it was such a good value in the past, I guess. All types of trout, bream, asp, chub, barbel, and grayling. So much for our trolling for bream, huh? All right, so all types of trout. Okay. Think of Corey again, right? Asp, so that's tuba. Tuba is already a hard place to troll unless like certain conditions are just perfect. That's interesting. Okay, thanks for that update on what they listed as examples of shy fish in the 2021 Q&A. Okay, thanks, Blunty. Okay. We've got some loud thunder here right now. Hopefully that's not coming through on the mic too much. Okay, so fishing shops. So those are like, I guess, the major top line updates. Everything else are like pretty specific, but we'll go through it real quick. Fishing shops have reduced prices for the following rod models. So let me ask you this, chat. I'm going to kind of bring this over here on the screen. But of these rod models that the price was decreased, has anybody looked into this or seen something that they were like, oh man, so here's the ones that were decreased. Is there anything that you feel like has become just like a really good deal now? I might take a look at this in detail another time, a little more detail. Let me double check that. Yeah, I guess we're good. I see a picker on there. I'm curious about how much, if that picker got cheaper with the picker rod boost. Oh, let's go back and talk about picker rods for a second. But yeah, I'll let y'all look at this for a second. I'm just curious if there is anything on there that's like, oh, yeah, that rod is a lot cheaper and seems like a very good value now. What's up, Reaper? You thought I was mouth breathing really hard. Wait, what? From the thunder? That would be amazing. I am a mouth breather. I'll give you that. All right, so let's talk about picker rods really quick, and then we'll go to the next list, which is the rod models that were increased in price. If they increase the kilos of Royal Picker, it would be nice. Maybe I'll buy it. Yeah. I need to go look in what they did to that, the Royal Picker. West Hill, is that what it is? West Hill Royal Picker? Because, again, I know people have used that in the past for carp fishing. And now with the even more increased XP you're getting based on picker rods. Okay, so here's my thing, though, about picker rods. I think it's cool that they gave picker rods an increase to their bonus. So, like, if we go to our Boonison picker rods here, I don't remember what the increase was before. Does it show what it is now, though? It doesn't even say, does it? Oh, what, 25%? I mean, wasn't it 25% before? Received a bonus that increases the amount of experience points gained for catching fish. It wasn't? Okay, so now it's 25% more than it was before? I'm kind of confused. But either way, like, here's my thing about picker rods. Because to me, the question is, with this change, do picker rods suddenly become more desirable for low-level players or for players that are in the process of leveling? And I think from the time you start RF4, for most, I mean, for pretty much your whole time playing it, unless you just like really no life it hard for a long time, you always need more silver than you do XP. Even if you're premium, even if you're free to play, I mean, if you're premium, that's especially true. But even if you don't ever have premium and you're free to play, I would still argue that for the most part, you need more silver than you do XP. In other words, if you could manually change the sliders and say, I'll take less XP and more silver, like, wouldn't you do that pretty much at any point in your RF4 career? I think you would. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, okay, so they've made it where picker rods give you more XP. I wish they made it where picker rods gave you more silver. Like, that would be more helpful to me to low-level players. So maybe it's not for low-level players. I mean, it just depends, I guess. This game is very grindy. So is there a point where you could get to where if the picker rods just weren't that expensive, if you could get some pretty cheap picker rods, would it be worth catching bream on picker rods for the extra XP? Maybe. But, you know, it's just kind of weird to me. I still don't think, even with that buff, that it, like, you know, means like, oh, all low-level players now need to go out and get picker rods. It almost makes me want to do a leveling guide, a picker rod leveling guide. Like, what would it be like? I mean, they would have to be cheap. Like, can you get picker rods that you could fish for bream on for 75 silver a piece? Because that's cheap enough where if you could do that, maybe it would be worth just going ahead and getting that extra XP. I don't know. What do y'all think? Yeah, I think no. And that's, to me, though, there's no change in where picker lies fall with this change. They've always been a luxury item for higher level players. To me, that's what they make sense. That's when they make sense. Except for those, we're getting so many points today. Except for those rare exceptions when the West Hill picker lets you get PVA or something sooner or whatever. You know, if there's bonuses or whatever. There's some reasons why picker rods like fall into place and you want to do them, but for the most part, it's felt like a luxury item. And I don't think this changes that, which I think is fine. I think it's easy for newer players to get confused on this. You know, it wasn't that long ago I saw someone in chat trying to convince other new players, like, you need to put your points into picker rods. You need to go picker rods early. This is the meta. And I was like, really? I didn't know that. Mini pickers are also increased in price. Yeah, and that's the other thing. Like, I just need to go to the store and look at it, because if they've also been increased in price, to me, that's making it even worse. Haven't heard of picker rods till level 24? That's good blood. The only picker rod I have is from a comp in your in-game chat. That's hilarious. Only use it for small fish fishing. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what they're meant for, and I use them for small fish fishing. And with this buff, I might be more tempted to use them for bream fishing. But I will tell you, in the past, I've just used my Bunis and feeder rods. Because I'll tell you, the other disadvantage of picker rods is they have their own skill category. So we're not even, like, if you put your points in feeder rod early on, which makes sense to do in most cases, it's a whole separate category. So, I mean, I've always thought you really need to choose, and why would you choose picker over feeder at a low level? So that's the other part of it that's just a little weird to me. This is the first time since we've been fishing out here, 32 minutes and 36 fish. This is the first time we've had to do any perking at all. Okay. All right, chat. All right, what's next on the patch notes? This is not a fun moment here. Wow. It's not a Hallie, that's the good news, but it is trouble. My Mecha Picker Rod had no bonuses. Now it has 25% XP bonus. Your Mechta, nice. I'm using them to go after Trophy Donnets. Well, yeah, you need to... Look how messed up that line looks right now. You need to do that partially because of the I almost said achievement, the qualification thing too, though, right? Yo, this fish is on fire. Are we really going to, like... You know, spoilers, chat. I'm sure that many of your keen brains had already put this together, but I was going to put this part of the stream onto YouTube as a reaction to the most recent patch notes and update. Are we going to really have me getting spooled out on the Norwegian Sea on a Lurker 100 and small fillets as a part of that? I guess. Because we certainly don't do any editing around here. I came for the patch notes, but I stayed for the spooling. Maybe that'll be the title of the video, actually. Trophy cod. Do you think it'll get tired before it's trophy gone? You think beagle? Yeah, look at all that bouncy, bouncy, bouncy. On the daggum trampoline. Maybe Greenland? Oh my goodness. 100-kilo perch. Yo! You want to just chill for a second? Apparently not. You would bet all your channel points on a beagle? It is awfully bouncy. Good time for an M-Dog novel. The Spooling. Yeah, I like that. I like that, Detroit. Welcome back. It's going nuts? It is going nuts. We were having such a good fishing session, too. I mean, if we get this in, obviously, it's even better, but... I mean, everything was just nice and smooth. We were getting marine skill points. We're just sitting here, like, reacting to patch notes, hanging out with chat, and then this happens. I mean, I'm really, like, is it worth locking up and just trying to take some chances? I mean, I'm not going to do it yet because we still have a chance, but... We're more than halfway out now, chat. By the way. Okay. Beagle's going to shut off at 250. I'm going to trust you. What? Beetroot? I never would have gotten to beetroot. Why in my brain? There's not even a second eye. How was I seeing Betroit there? Sorry about that, beetroot. How is my reel still on fire? Like, it's not pulling. There's no... Finally. Holy cow. It's your daughter's nickname? That's awesome. Beetroot. I like it. This is the bounciest fish ever. Just wish it would calm down a little bit. It's kind of stressing me out, chat. You'll be fine? I don't know. We're at 350 of 480. I have no sense that I'll be fine at this point. I think if I lock it, it just pops, though. I think we're the opposite of fine. The thing that's like hard is that it doesn't even feel like we're close to gaining any sort of traction on it. So if it's going to die, it's not because we're going to wear it out. It's because it's just going to exhaust itself, right? And it's going so fast. I don't know that I think that's going to happen. just don't think we were stopping it, chat. And I'm way too stubborn to turn it off. Sup, Dros? Oh, that's interesting. Wait, do we have... So do we still have the... Oh, it does have the full line still in there. So it did snap at the leader. For a second there, I thought our whole line was gone. Holy cow. I knew that was going to happen, but I don't know. I was just trying to do anything. Whew, that was a monster. So, I mean, heck, let's just throw this in. What is this, by the way? Huge fillet. Why not? We'll just throw a huge fillet in. Oh my goodness, that was exhausting. Oh, I really wanted to see what that fish was. I don't like it though when maybe we could still do the perker if we use the strips instead of the small fillets. I don't know. Since we have equipment that can handle those kind of fish, I don't like getting into those fish fights with the lesser gear. Oh, it's such a bummer. All right, let's see if we get a bite. Oh, this will also be easier because we won't just see this disappear. We'll see the bite thing, right? Yo, what's up, Lindsay? That one was crazy. Yeah. Yeah, I think, well, with the spot being like this, I think you're exactly right, Blunty. I think the profit is probably high enough that you can run your most expensive stuff. I think that's probably true. Okay. Patch notes and a spooling. Well, at least we called it. Okay, so there have also been, hey, look at this. We have a fish on. There also have been some fish, some rods that have been increased in price. So we had all we have is a huge fillet on. What is this we call it? I mean, not that only big fish come in on huge fillet, but it tends to I don't know, not catch too much stuff like that, it seems like. Pickerel says, which hole are you? I'm at 41. So that had to have either been a really aggressive beagle, swordfish, tuna, although I haven't fought a tuna yet, so I'm just guessing on this. I haven't fought a big tuna at least. Greenland shark. Aren't those the only options, y'all? It's got to be one of the big and also sort of aggressive type things, right? Okay, so the increased rods have a lot of pickers on them. Some of the barracudas, which those are some good rods, so I wonder if they've gotten priced out of their value. Almost all of the barracudas. Also makes me sad to see the Bunis and pickers on there. I do love my Bunis and pickers. The Evora, which I have. Ethnic, I remember that rod. It's interesting. That's one of the newer rods, as in it wasn't, if you go back far enough, the Ethnics weren't in there. The Linear, the Mecta, which I think, I don't know, I might be used to the Mecta spinning rods. Those are the casting ones. But still, I like the Mectas. There's the Model 1, both the spinning, casting, and picker, which that is definitely a bummer. See all those model ones getting expensive. Rocket, Super Duty. So they hit both the Super Duty and the Model 1. Both of them seem like great value before. I'm assuming they're not as good a value now. Wingate Picker. Back in the day, Wingates, man. That's what I used to feeder fish with back in the day, were those Wingates. Catching carp on those big old Wingates, but not the pickers, the feeders. Okay, so percentage is going good. We're at 83.6. We've actually done really well this happy hour, catching a lot of small, fast fish here at the 41. So very pleased with that. All right, next in the patch notes, the average weight of the following fish species was increased. So we have a list of different fish that have had a change in their average weight. They've gotten fatter, just like me. Silver carp, big head carp, Caspian brown trout, which that's so fascinating that the Caspian brown trout have gotten even bigger. They were already so big and aggressive, hard fighting fish. The Black Sea Cootum, the black buffalo, and the buffalo, which is what we were talking about earlier, that maybe that's why all of a sudden some globals are coming out. Shorthead barbel, so that's cool. Shamaya have gotten bigger. Those are those float, we fish for those on float, right? Black Sea Shamaya, the herring, which those are with the Shamaya at tuba at least, sort of the rare catch usually on Shamaya spots, I think. Pumpkin seed, that's on Donitz, maybe other places too, but I remember that from Donitz. Ladoga Lake whitefish, Severe whitefish, black whitefish. This is all stuff that is at Archie, I believe y'all have told me, right? Black whitefish and Severe maybe. Rippus, Vendus, Smelt. So it's kind of weird that those have all gotten bigger. Smelts are even bigger, huh? Those might be just a ton of fun to float fish for now. White-eye bream, which they're just often hard to catch, but their average weight size have gotten bigger. Okay. White bream, that's cool. Blue bream, that's also cool. Vimba, so all of the small bream species have gotten a buff into their size. Rough, dace, Chinese sleeper. So not all of them, but a good many of these fish do impact like leveling, low-level players, new players. And the Volgazander. Okay, that's interesting. The indicator, well, Blunty, I wish I didn't have such a slow bite rate right now, but I'm trying to get through these patch notes. But next time I catch a fish, you should see it if you look at, what's up, Quester? If you look at the bottom bar, it will turn like blue, and you'll see a little fish symbol on the left side above the bar. Significantly increase the average weight of the Chinese sleeper at Mosquito Lake. Wow. Okay. Go sleepers at Mosquito. Significantly increase the average weight of char on Ladoga Archie. So just at Archie, huh? What would be better if char were bigger on Ladoga? Maybe they already were bigger at Ladoga. I don't know. But like that's where you target char more, right? Especially with the above change to the trolling. Are they trying to get us to actually target char at Ladoga Archie by not trolling? But man, imagine how good the silver would have to be to convince someone not to troll at Archie. I don't know. Increase the population of cod, but reduce the price at fish market. This makes me laugh. I don't remember who it was. Somebody in our community, somebody that was in chat the other day that actually lives in Norway and fishes in the Norwegian Sea was like, you know, one of the things they got wrong was cod should have been like saithe or mackerel or whatever. Like you can't stop catching cod. They're one of the easiest things to catch. So he called it because they have made that change in game. Reduce the population of Atlantic halibut. Okay. Reduce the population. Halibut have gotten nerfed, what, twice? 3 times since this map came out? I think first people were making too much silver off of halibut. And now maybe they were just making too much XP and silver off halibut, so they've gotten nerfed again. Anyway, bye-bye halibut. I mean, it's only, not bye-bye, but less of, I guess. And I don't know how drastic it is. I haven't gone fishing for big fish yet, at least not on purpose. It's only, that really only affects like the higher end players that rushed to high levels of marine fishing and were able to start targeting halibut early, right? And like actually reeling them in efficiently. All right, we'll do a little bit of moving this while we're talking. Try to get more aggressively, try to get a bite. Okay. See if y'all are saying anything. Yo, what's up, Null? Doing well? How are you? Archie's dead? Really? Archie has slowed down? Interesting. Halibut's got nerf after nerf? Yeah, that's definitely the case. People hate them, so this is good, right? Yeah, but I think the secret to halibut was, at least before the first nerf especially, if you had heavy gear, you actually were making a killing off of halibut. The people that hate halibut are people that are hooking into halibut on like mid-level or low-level gear. If you had the heavy medium boat rods or more, you were actually making bank off of them. Now it's fat cod instead. Yeah, I mean, hopefully. Archie isn't good right now? Okay. Salmon got a Bluetooth Halley? Oh, okay. Still in port on the hook. Oh, that's cool. All right. You can see how slow this is sometimes fishing with the huge fillet. Now I could put the sea hook or gummy mac on there. It might help a little bit. We also could change it. We'll change this real quick. All right. At the fish markets, the price of the following fish has been increased. Chub, I think that's good. I felt like chub was always a little bit underpriced at market. Volgazander, that's good. I haven't focused them enough to really notice. Pumpkin seed, I mean, pumpkin seed were always pretty like terrible, right? In terms of, let's just throw like a squid on here. Let's make this interesting. And we can do a gummy mac. Do we want to do a second gummy mac? I guess so. We'll see how this goes. I don't know if this will be any better or not. So yeah, chub, that's good. Pumpkin seed, I think pumpkin seed wasn't worth very much if I remember that correctly, so that's probably good. Vindus, yeah, another fish that you don't get much silver for. Black sea cootum, black buffalo, okay. Cootum, short-headed barbel. Silver carp, those all seem like good buffs. I think those are good buffs to those fish. The number of experience points gained for catching the following types of fish has been increased. So this is how much XP we're getting. Chinese sleeper. See our earlier discussion about you always have more XP than silver. You need silver more than XP, especially low level. Siberian roach. Okay, Siberian roach, that's so interesting. Common roach. Oh, okay. Well, it makes more sense that both of them are on there. You get more XP for common roach. I mean, you got so little to begin with. More of not very much still might be not very much. I don't know. White bream. I'm cool with that. Like, I think white bream, I wish they still had... hitting R. I wish they still had silver bream in the game. But white bream is about as close as we get these days. Is it just too high up in the elevation or what? Looks like it was. All right, that should do it. Huh. Let me see if I can get this centered. Sichel. So more XP for Sichel, Smelt, Asian Smelt, Vendus, Siberian Sardine, Cisco, Freshwater Crayfish, White-Eye Bream, Rudd, and Rippus. Alright, I'm not getting bottom at all here. Alright, now we are. Let's see if it'll stick. That was weird. Alright, so for whatever reason, those fish all got buffs to their XP level. Significantly increased. By the way, Null Signal says, which seems weird to me because they always seem like they were on the rare side of things. Talking about pumpkin seeds. Yeah. It's good that they got that buff, right? Reducing the halibut population was the correct move for making it more accurate, but I hate the buffing of XP and fish sizes. They're babying new players and making the leveling way too easy. Overall, this patch was not so good to you. For your information, you lost the bottom because of the changes of tide. Thank you, Dragonclaw. This game is such a grind. I'm happy to see it. What's up, Dragonclaw? Welcome back. Let's see. I literally just saw this advertised on Steam 30 seconds ago. How crazy. Responding to my newest YouTube video. If you want some potato jokes, by the way, check out my YouTube channel. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think any of the changes they made today is going to significantly change how grindy this game feels. You are going to, even if you're getting a little bit more XP for some of these fish, like I said, silver is what you need, not XP. It's actually, in some ways, discouraging to give people more XP early than silver. So, I don't know. But this next one says, significantly increase the price of a trophy specimen of common species of fish. So, white-eye bream, Volgazander, Caspian roach, chub, white bream, Siberian dace, ruff, crucian carp, gibble carp, sickleback, rudd, tench, perch, pumpkin sunfish, gudgeon, all species of gudgeon, common roach, Siberian roach, nace, rippus, Chinese sleeper, vendus, Siberian sardine, Cisco, Kessling herring, clupanella, bleak, sichel, shamaya, eyed. So all of those fish, they significantly increase the silver you'll get at market for a trophy. I think that's great. Now, what does significant mean? Has anybody caught a crucian or gibble trophy yet? What are we normally getting for those? 10 to 12 silver? Are we talking like 25 now? What is significant? I don't have a problem with this because low-level accounts rarely catch trophies. I mean, if you look at a level 21 player, how many trophies on average do they have? I mean, I'm not exactly sure, but it's not that many. Because so much of catching a trophy comes with experience, both you as a player, but also experience for your character, leveling up your percentage in bottom fishing or whatever you're catching the trophy on. So I wonder if this does actually make it a little bit more lucrative for a mid to high level player to go back and hit a really good trophy gibble crucian spot or roach or whatever and still make a decent amount of silver if they're getting a pretty high trophy catch rate. That could be interesting. The efficiency of fishing with float rigs from the shore was increased on Ladoga Lake. Okay, what does this tell us, chat? That they were expecting or had designed it such they thought there would be more float fishing from the shores. It's got to be whitefish, right? Don't y'all think this is about whitefish? What do y'all think? I love RF4 and its grindiness. I think the new player experience could use all the help it can get. I agree with that. Good trophies. You can trophy roach and ruff constantly. Maybe 20, Blood thinks. Caught rough trophy, 150 gram on the dot, sold for 37 silver. That seems really good. Thank you, Interpol, for that information. That seems really good. We're not getting any bites on this. Let's try one more thing really quick. We're almost done here. We're almost done with the patch notes. This is a long, as far as, it's not that like, compared to other significant patch changes, like, there aren't that many more changes. It's just they went into so much more detail. We don't usually get